right here, so that way you guys can not crowd around too much with one another. But I would say take a look at all 5, but fill out a primary source analysis sheet for 2. And you're going to jump back and forth between these columns, because these questions here, so under observe, what do you notice first? That's a question that you're going to answer under the observe. So when you look at a picture, what's the first thing that jumps out to me? You can write that in the observe column. That might prompt you to head on over to the question column and say, well, I wonder why that's drawn like that. Or you can reflect and say, I think this came from this. So you're going to jump back and forth between the 3 categories as you look at one picture. This is a way to help organize our very jumbled brain, which is so smart. It just jumps back and forth between all kinds of different ideas. So it's okay to go back and forth between lots of different ideas. You're gonna do that throughout this particular activity. But do so quietly. Think about what you're seeing. And use the filter of what we've just talked about with immigration. So think about, okay, what immigrant populations are represented in this picture, if any? What immigrant policies might be represented in this picture? How does the author feel about immigration or immigration policy? And try to use those questions to guide your analysis of these placards. These are all political cartoons that were published between 1880 and about 1920. So they're all from this time period. So I want you guys to be able to analyze those. Does anyone have any questions about that and how you're going to accomplish that? Yeah, I'm going to leave this up so that way you guys can use this as a reference. Because I don't expect that you guys are going to memorize and internalize these questions forever. So I'll leave this up so you guys can use this as a reference. Do you have to answer every question that's listed here? No. This is just used as a guide, an idea to help get your juices flowing. Okay? Any other questions? That was a great one. Do 2. But take a look at all 5. So there's 1 here. So I'll move over so it's a little bit easier to see. 1 there, 1 in the center, and then 2 right there at the back. All right? You guys have the rest of the hour to work on that. And I'm going to come through and ask you guys some questions as you go. Yeah. Yes. Let me write you a passport. I'll see you in a minute, miss. It's just go right there. It's okay. You can write down 5 or 2.4. You can just put 2.4 D and then right. Your observations. You can step to the slide. This works now. There are 2 sides. So the same exact. There's 1 placard. So it's whatever. So your answers questions are like this. So what do you do? Find something small and interesting. What do you need to know to expect? So these questions are here to help guide you with your thought process and observations. If that's what you think is called a social, right? It's all about what you see. If you're doing the analysis of what you're talking about. Laura, these questions I'll leave up here. You don't have to go in order. So if you have to fill out, okay, observe, and then reflect, and then question, you'll jump back and forth. Yeah, no, it's not. I stand there sometimes just because that's nice. This one's a really interesting one. Yeah, so there's another thing in the center. This particular artist is doing things that might go underneath not just your like so if you observe the room, you might reflect on seeing the meaning of that. So then you try that up. So here's the thing, depends on what you see. If you see a skull, then it might be a skull. So what's significant? Why would they take all that shine from a skull into the clouds? It's like
but I mean,
well, I mean, what's happening in this picture? What are they walking through? Oppression and intolerance. So intolerance means I don't tolerate or respect or feel good about anyone else's decisions. So usually intolerance is represented when we talk about issues of race or gender, sexual orientation, but it can also be intolerant towards other things. So when you tolerate something, you accept it, right? So it's a lack of acceptance. Oppression, holding people down. So when you're oppressing them, it's like you're pressing them down below what they should be. Does that kind of help illustrate those words? Yeah. So those waves are being divided. What do you think that means? All right. That's a good way of thinking about it. Okay. I'll check and I'll figure it out. Oh yeah, it's in this hour. I'll check right now and figure it out. I think we should have this separate one that we usually do. Good, good. You guys are making good progress on that. Ladies and gents, Shelly asked me a good question to remind me. Tomorrow's Friday, which means we have the PEP assembly. We have the second assembly, which means you guys come here first. And then we'll go to the assembly at a certain point, and then we'll come back. Thumbs up? That's okay. If you guys are in it, that's okay. You'll show up as excused on my list. No worries.